Happy Friday, everybody, from San Francisco, California. I made it here. I tell ya, it's been an interesting journey. It really has. Getting here from the Northwest, I had mechanical problems. I know, hard to believe, huh? Nothing that broke me down the road, but plenty that gave me anxiety, and I had to keep pushing through. And it's had me thinking about a subject. I did a video on fear almost 2 years ago now, coming up on 2 years. And I just revisited that and checking on my perspective because I've had some new thoughts lately. And I'm going to talk about that and share that with you. So what I've noticed, as anybody who follows this channel knows, the summer of 2023, I had massive mechanical problems. I replaced my radiator, I replaced my water pump, I replaced 2 third members in the rear end. I got stranded for weeks at a time in different spots. I had to replace my starter. I had to fix so much shit that when it came time to leave Seattle and head south for the winter, I was a nervous wreck. And I mean, it was bad. And I was leaving. Didn't even realize I was leaving for the year from Seattle when I went to Burning Man. But I knew as I drove to Burning Man, it's like, I don't know if I'm even freaking gonna make it. But both my kids are gonna be there, so I'm pushing through. And I could hardly sleep on my 2 nights on the road because I had so much anxiety. I'm listening to the growling rear end. I know something's gonna blow. I'm just like hoping it just makes it. So long as it blows up after Burning Man. Amazingly, that's exactly what happened. And I didn't even make it back to Seattle. I limped into Redding, where my dad lives from after Burning Man. Was there for 6 weeks before I could completely repair my rear end. Anyway, I digress. I had so much mechanical trouble in 2023 that it gave me like serious trust issues in my truck that I'd never had before. And you'd think you'd get over that pretty quick once you know you fixed everything, but I didn't. And then this last summer, I started having all kinds of ignition trouble and other things. And the last couple of years, I limped here. I was leaving the Northwest much later than normal for the winter. And that's because I flew from SeaTac in Seattle to my son's graduation from basic training in the U.S. Army. And that was in late October. So that delayed me. And my goodness, it was, when you're having mechanical troubles, you know something's not going right. Sometimes it's a curse being a mechanic because you hear things, you feel things that other people wouldn't even notice. But you're like, oh no. Because you know what that could be. And when you've had a lot of trouble, it kind of gets up in your head and works on you. And I knew I was having problems. I had to come through weather and cold and rain and everything. And just, again, I wouldn't say I limped into Redding, but I didn't arrive strong. And I found the problems in Redding and resolved them. She's been running like a beast ever since. Better than she has in a couple years. So, that brings me around to now, where I am just now calming down. I've been in San Francisco for 4 days. And I'm just starting to feel calm again about the truck and about its function. And it's made me thinking about, I've talked about how, I think I've talked about it. My mom was a really brave young woman in her early years, but she had so many brutal things happen to her in her personal life that she became a very fearful person, especially in her later years, especially once dementia started setting in. And please understand, I love my mom to death. She was an amazing mom. She took care of us through some unbelievably dark shit. She always loved us, always supported us in what we were doing, always believed in us. I don't think she could have done a better job under her circumstances. So, don't get me wrong. But my mom became a very fearful person. She is a woman of great faith, She was a Christian, 100% foundational Christian believer, believed everything, all things work together for good, all that stuff. I know she believed it, but fear was always coursing under that surface because she'd been through so much shit. So much of what was supposed to be finally good went wrong in horrific ways, and it just broke her heart. And so I grew up in that environment, not to mention the fear instilled in me by, certain abandonment stuff that happened, and my evil stepfather who terrorized me. And I really thought after I did all my work, lots of personal work after my marriage came apart for years, therapy and a lot of work in ACA, I really thought I had gotten past the point where fear is gnawing at me. And I just realized in the last couple weeks, in particular, how much I still have work to do with that. And I've talked about in the video that, yeah, everybody has fear. It's a matter of what we do with it. But I've also realized that if you've had a lot happen in recent history that's made you trembly, made you fearful, because you just feel like I can't deal with another thing. If another thing happens, what am I going to do? That kind of apprehension, that kind of anxiety. Rational fear, like, how can I afford it? If anything else goes wrong, it's rational stuff. It's rational fear that can work on me. And I'm having to be aware that if I let it get to me, if I try to ignore it, which is what I've been trying to do, just la 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 la, and I've learned that doesn't work. I have to turn and face those things, look them in the eye, and basically understand why I'm afraid of that, acknowledge it, and then say, but it's not happening. I think we have to flip it around into a manifesting thing. And, for people of faith, whatever your faith might be, that means, praying for that thing, praying for the positive outcome, trusting in the positive outcome. For someone like me who doesn't subscribe to any faith, I'm manifesting it. I'm speaking it out loud. I'm reminding myself that whatever I keep in the forward part of my brain, my conscious mind, whatever I'm expecting, there's a high likelihood it will happen. So let's start manifesting and expecting good things. And I'm having to remind myself to do that. And gosh, it just goes to show, I'm almost 60 now. I'll be 60 next year. And I've been doing this work for a solid 11 years now, 12 years almost of this kind of personal work. And I still had to look over my shoulder and see, hey, what's that gnawing on me? What's that trying to get a foothold again? And life presents these opportunities for us to constantly grow. And I just wanted to kind of come on here and say this to remind you that if you have fear, if you have anxiety, any emotion you have, it doesn't mean you're a fucked up person or you're broken. Well, we're all kind of broken, and that's okay, but it doesn't mean there's a huge problem necessarily. What it means is you're feeling something and your psyche's wanting you to acknowledge it. So acknowledge it, look into it, decide what you want to do about it, and take those positive steps. That's real easy to say, harder to do. Like so many things that really matter in life. And so, yeah, I've been thinking about this, looking across the board. Anytime I make the big leap from one area to another, especially if there's been some drama that was stressful along the way, it makes me reevaluate, makes me look at everything, the whole global picture of my life and what I'm doing. And anytime I do that, it can raise concerns in my mind like, boy, okay, you feel so positive about this. Let's think it through. Let's revisit, make sure we're still positive about this, still what you want to do. Because a lot of times we can get lost in the sauce of, I decided this is how it's going, this is what I'm going to do. And then you can get single-minded about it. So I'd encourage you to always stay open to new possibilities. Another thing that's easier said than done, and I'm working on that myself, to open my mind to what life is showing me, what I'm feeling in my body, in my spirit, my mind, and to face those things with curiosity instead of fear. And that's just what I wanted to talk about today. I wish you all happy holidays if you're celebrating Thanksgiving or however you're celebrating tomorrow. Well, you're seeing this Friday. Thanksgiving in the U.S. was yesterday. I'm blessed I'm going to be with my daughter and one of her dear friends for Thanksgiving Day, and that's going to be really nice. I'm looking forward to it, but wishing you all the best. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. Also, if you enjoy this content that I create, I would love it if you'd subscribe. That could potentially help me down the road. My daughter's building a channel. She's gaining a lot of subscribers. She does really entertaining content. I just do a vlog. So I don't expect to ever make a living off of YouTube like she's working toward. But I've learned a lot from her, from watching what she's doing and what she teaches me. It's like, okay, I could see where a trickle could be useful. It's never going to change how I do my thing. But yeah, so if you watch this stuff faithfully, please subscribe. And I wish you a great weekend, and see you next week. Hey guys, so it is the day after those first clips I made in this video. Today is Thanksgiving Day. And I just wanted to say, one little thing I wanted to add to that in talking about fear. Just talking about it, even creating that video, lifted so much off of me. Anytime you don't speak things out loud, they just, if they're negative stuff, they just fester inside you. And verbalizing it, even though I wasn't talking to anybody, just creating a video and kind of letting it out, huge difference. I feel so much better today and so much more grounded. And yeah, I just wanted to encourage you, even if you can't speak to a person about how you're feeling, don't feel what you feel in silence. Do mirror work, just speak it out to the open in a meditation, a prayer, whatever. Verbalize it. It will help you work through it.